Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, it's going to be a little more serious than the ones that I've published before, but the universe was telling me that I should share this with you guys in hopes that I will help somebody out there. If you do like these videos where I sit down and talk to you guys about my life or chit chat videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. So let's get into it. I do want to say that I'm not trying to act like a victim in any way, and I'm not bashing my ex in any way, shape, or form. Our relationship was amazing, or I don't regret any of it, and I do appreciate everything that he did for me. However, his actions and behavior, it's not something that I can accept as a person, so I had to let that relationship go. So just to let you guys know, I am not bashing him, and for the sake of privacy, I'm going to call him Leo in this video. That's not his real name, but I'm just going to call him Leo. I did some research on what a narcissist means, and basically, in summary, what it means is somebody who feels privileged and they like to gaslight and make people feel like they're the ones going crazy, and they try to deny somebody's reality. Like, for instance, if I say something, he would tell me that I'm lying or he's never said a certain thing. That's called gaslighting. Another trait for narcissism is they care a lot about physical appearance and the people that they're dating. They want the person that they're dating to make them look better, to make them, I don't know, like, they care about looks and they care about the appearance, like the outer appearance. A really big thing that narcissist people have as a trait is that they are very angry. They tend to lash out. They don't have patience. They just have anger management. So it's just, that's a really big trait, and it goes deeper into it to the point where they get jealous, they get possessive, they get controlling. So those are just like the little traits that a narcissist has. I'm not saying like if you have just that one trait you're a narcissist, but if it's like more than one, you're a narcissist, honey. But yeah, so that's just kind of something that I've been thinking about since I got out of this relationship. I was doing more research on like, why was he like that? Why was he treating me like that? So that's just like kind of a side note to keep in mind. Now let's get into the actual story. So let's begin on how we met. I go to this party with his friend, actually. Let's call him Monkey. So I go to a party, or I meet this guy, Monkey, on Tinder, and I didn't have any plans a certain day. And so Monkey hits me up and was like, hey, what are you doing today? Like, I'm going to LA. So I was like, bet. I was like, I'm down to go. I got no plans. Like, I'm down. So I drove to from my mom's house, which was an hour away. This is the first time I've ever done anything crazy like this, where I get into a car with a stranger and drive to LA, which was like another 2 hours away from where I lived. So that was already risky enough. I pull up to his house. He was like, oh, I'm not there yet. Give me a few minutes and I'll be there shortly. In my mind, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I going to LA with this guy that I don't even know? Like, I only met him a day ago. We only texted for a few hours, and like, we didn't even have any deep conversations. So I did not know Monkey. So I was sitting in front of his house, just thinking, like, should I go? What should I do? I got no plans. Like, so then he pulls up. I see his car, and then like he's with another guy. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get raped. I'm getting raped today. I'm gonna die. So, he rolls down his window. I roll mine down. He was like, are you ready to go? I look at him. I was like, first of all, he is not even cute. Like, he's not my type. But something was telling me that I had to go in the car with these two guys. Like, this is something I have never done in my life. Like, I have a really good gut instinct, but something was telling me that I had to get in the car. I don't know what it was. So I get in the car, and his friend, the guy in the passenger seat, his name is Dinosaur. So Monkey looks at me, he's like, you're fine as fuck. And then like I was just feeling so uncomfortable because I didn't know them, and they were looking at me like they were just like dogging me, like I'm gonna get raped. And now that I'm in the car, there's nothing I can do about it. So we start driving. We get on the freeway, and then they started like lighting up a blunt. Well, first they asked me like, is it okay if we light this up? And then I was like, okay, well, they're respectful enough for them to even ask me that. So I started to ease up a little more. I was getting more calm, like my nerves were starting to like cool down. I wasn't so like in panic mode. And then as soon as we just started driving, like they were actually really cool people. Like Dinosaur, he and I just kept roasting each other that entire trip. Like we just had that like brother sister kind of relationship at the end of this trip. And then what was the guy that I called him Monkey. So I was like low-key trying to get to know Monkey. I mean, like we did match on Tinder, so he had the idea that him and I were going to this trip together, like we were like on a date or whatever. They started to become hella cool, and then we get to LA and we check into this hotel. I stayed in a room with Monkey, and then Dinosaur was meeting up with this female that already lived in LA, I believe. We get to the hotel, we started taking shots, and then Dinosaur's girl comes over and we started taking shots together. And then we go to like Hollywood Boulevard, and we started hitting up some shopping places. And then I guess Monkey got a text or whatever for an invite for a party. We were like, all right, we're not doing anything else, so let's go back to the hotel, get ready for this party. We get back to the hotel, take a few more shots, and then we change and stuff or whatever. It was already like nighttime, and then we go to this party, and it was like just a bunch of people that they already knew. Dinosaur and Monkey were like best friends, and the people at that party were like their homies from high school, so it was like kind of a reunion. So we get to the party, and then I lock eyes with this guy. What did I call him? Leo. So I see Monkey and Leo just doing like the handshake, like, oh, what up, bro? How you been? I'm like, oh, okay, so they're friends, like they're homies. And then we were at this point like where we were all sitting down on this like kitchen table, and I was sitting on Monkey's lap that night. And so Monkey was like, oh, that's my homie. He started like pointing at Leo. He was like, that's my homie. Like, if I were to get married, he's gonna be my best man. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm at this party with Monkey, but my eyes are on Leo. Like, I just had like this energy, like this weird like connection with Leo. Like, I tend to gravitate towards like more introverted men, and he seemed very introverted. Leo wasn't so cocky. He was just like doing his own thing. He was just sitting there chilling and just being cute or whatever. And in my mind, I was saying, me and Monkey don't really have a thing, so would it be wrong for me to shoot my shot at Leo? So that's just what I was thinking. Like, Monkey goes and starts talking to his other homies, and then like Leo was standing up, and I was like still sitting on that kitchen table, and I was just admiring all his tattoos. And the one that really stood out the most was the one on his like forehead, and it said manifest. Manifestation and the law of attraction is something that I try to practice on a daily basis, something that I am very strong, like I have strong feelings about. It is what I believe in. So when I seen that manifest on his forehead, that got me. I was like, oh, he's into it as much as I am. He and I started talking about that tattoo. We started talking about other tattoos, and we kind of like locked eyes in the kitchen. Like, we were just like, in that moment, he was sitting across from me at the table, and we were just staring at each other, like into each other's souls. It felt like there was nobody else at that party, or like everything else was like blurred out, like, you know, those movies. Well, that's how it felt. And then I felt like our like connection, just like connecting. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I fell in love that day. So anyway, at the end of the party, I go back to the hotel with Monkey, Dinosaur, and his girl. And then, like, nothing happened between me and Monkey, by the way. Like, we didn't do anything. Like, we just knocked out as soon as we got to the hotel. We were super drunk anyway. So the next morning, I hit up Leo. I was like, what did I say? I said something like, you're fine as fuck or whatever. And then that's when we started texting back and forth. And mind you, we were both from Central Cali. LA was not where we lived. It was about 2 hours away from our home place. So the next day we both went home. And I don't know if it was that next day after LA or the day after that where we decided to link up. I go over to his house, and then that first day, like, let me tell you, he said that he loved me. That's red flag number one, I feel like. Like, when somebody already says that they love you and they don't know you, that's like a question mark. I don't know, like, how could you feel this way if you don't know me? I went along with it because I thought I loved him too. I was like, oh, I love you too. Like, he was like, you're my girl and I want to marry you, I want to have kids with you. And like, he called my sister on FaceTime or like phone, and he was just like trying to convince her how much of a good man he is and how he's gonna treat me. Like, what? Why are you trying to convince my sister how you're gonna treat me? Like, shouldn't you be convincing me how you're gonna treat me? So that was another red flag. He was just saying things like I'm not gonna hurt your sister, and I want to get to know you, I want you to become my sister, or I don't remember, but somewhere along those lines. And then after that call, he was like, now I got another sister to go talk to, and then now I gotta like talk to your mom, I gotta meet your pops. Like, he was just trying to meet my whole family before even trying to get to know me. Like, at first I was like, oh, that's cute, like, he's trying to get to know my family, but like, it takes time for that next level. Like, the first level is to get to know each other. We didn't know each other. This was our first day. We spent like a few days together. Like, I stayed at his house for a few days, and before I even met him, I was already planning on moving to Miami. If you guys want to know why I moved to Miami, I have another video on that. I don't remember if it was me asking him to come with me or if he like was like, oh, like, I can make it big in Miami too. I don't remember how that conversation went, but I was all in for it. Like, I don't want to go to Miami by myself. Miami is a scary, like, dangerous place. It's risky for just a woman to be going by herself. So I was like, I need somebody to be there with me to watch my back. I think it was like a week after that. The week after we even met from the party, like, it was just a week later where we drive from California all the way to Miami. That was a 5-day trip. But that trip was so fun. It was so adventurous. It was something that, like, I'm glad I did. I don't regret any of it. Like, we got to know each other in that drive. It was just fun altogether. Like, the beginning, like, the first few days of knowing him, like, it was beautiful. He wasn't showing no red flags. But here's the thing, though. Here's a red flag. His family, so before we even moved, his family was, like, reaching out to me. I met one of his cousins at the party, too. His name is Max. I don't know. So Max hits me up. And a few other cousins are like, he's a bum, like, don't be wasting your time on him, like, you have so much potential, you just got a lot going on for yourself. Don't let him take you down. That's all he does. Like, he takes people down, and he is lazy. He won't help you. He'll just, I don't know. They were just like saying a bunch of like things about him and just giving me all of this like information. Oh, and his brother. Well, no, his brother didn't get into the picture until a little later, but like 2 of his cousins were just saying all of the bad, like the negative traits about him. Like, I brought it to Leo's attention. I was like, why is your cousin even saying this, like, all of these things to me? Like, they don't even know me. Like, why are they even trying to watch my back if they don't know me? At first, I thought they were trying to hit on me because that's what Leo was saying. They're like, oh, they're just trying to shoot their shot. They're just jealous because you're beautiful and they don't want me to have a beautiful woman. He was trying to feed into my head, and then they're trying to feed into my head. So I didn't know what to believe. But Leo was my man. Of course, I like backed him up. But at the same time, I kept all the information that they like gave me in the back of my mind. Like, I thank them for the time, for like even coming to me and like bringing all this to my attention. I was like, okay. I appreciate everything that you're telling me, and I'm gonna keep it in mind. But I'm gonna give him a chance because I see the potential in him. Like, I can see him booming in this music industry, in this fitness industry. So let me give him a chance and let me be the one to help him grow. They're like, okay. And they were pretty much saying like, well, don't tell me that I didn't warn you, whatever kind of thing. And then I tell Leo about it, and he was just like, block them. Like, don't talk to them ever again. Block them. But I didn't, because there had to be a reason why they were coming to me and telling me all these things. Okay, so now fast forward back to the drive. So we get to Miami. That first day in Miami, his baby mama calls and was giving him so much drama. Like, he was like, oh, I got a girlfriend or whatever. And she was like, well, thanks for being honest. And it was just like baby mama drama that I did not want to be a part of. So I tell him, I'm taking you away from your family. Like, your family doesn't want you to move here. Like, your mama, she said that she was okay with it, but I know deep down she didn't really want him to be halfway across the country. His cousins were warning me, like, saying, like, oh, he can't make it out there. That place is not for him. Like, he's gonna bring you down, whatever. So his family was not for it. And now his baby mama is in the mix. He had a son that he wouldn't even be seeing, and then his baby mama was giving him drama. So I was like, are you sure you want to live here? I don't want to be the person that to take you away from all of this. Like, I'll support you 100%, but I was kind of having doubts, and that caused an argument. He was like, how could you be saying that? He was like, you're scaring me. Like, first you say that you love me, and that, like, you want it forever, da-da-da-da-da, now you're worried about this, and that. Like, don't be having my family, like, give you doubts or whatever. He was just, like, mad. I was like, why is he mad? Like, I'm just saying, he's halfway across the country with a female he barely knows, and he's leaving his family behind. Like, his son, his mom, like, his friends, you know? After I said that, I was like, you left everyone behind. I don't want to be the one to take you away from that. He was like, it was my choice. Like, I'm not leaving no one behind. Like, my friends back there are showing their true colors or whatever. He kind of flipped it around on me, and we just, like, started having an argument. So that was one instance, and that was a red flag that I ignored. And the drama with his family continued. Like, they were trying to hit him up. They're like, why are you even in this new city with this female you don't know? Like, she's a thought, or she's a, like, pretty much saying that, like, I was with his homie first, which I was not with his homie. Monkey and I didn't have a thing. But, like, they were just, like, trying to convince him to move back, and they weren't for the whole move. So this was like a week of knowing each other, and we already got into, like, a pretty big argument. And it just went downhill from there. Like, he was showing little signs of jealousy and insecurity. For instance, I love Chris Brown. Like, I'm kind of nervous to even be saying this on camera because, like, if he watches this, he's probably gonna get super mad. But, like, a small instance is that I love Chris Brown. He's my favorite artist. And he got kind of jealous of Chris Brown. Like, I don't mean to be shaming him in any way, I'm not. It's just that little thing kind of bothered me. He's a music artist, so he makes beats and he's a producer, whatever. He's also an artist, so he was like, if I ever sit down with Chris Brown, you and I sit down with Chris Brown, I don't want you fangirling over him, I don't want you crying over him. Like Chris Brown is just a regular ass person, right? Like, saying, like, the only difference between me and him is that he has money and I don't. He was just, like, comparing himself to him, and I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't want to say much because I could tell deep down he was kind of angry, because I told him that when I went to Chris Brown's concert, I started crying for him. And Leo was like, well, that's never going to happen again, not if you're with me. I was like, damn, okay. And I kind of, like, mentioned that to him one time about the whole Chris Brown thing, and he was like, oh, I'm not even tripping. Like, I fuck with Chris Brown. Like, don't be trying to turn this and, like, make it seem like I'm jealous, whatever. So, like, if anytime he did anything, like, jealous, like, if he was jealous and he was, like, controlling in a way, if I mentioned that to him, he would turn it around and be like, I wasn't even tripping. It's just, like, narcissistic behavior, I'm telling you. So another instance is we were walking back to our apartment from the liquor store. I was wearing shorts, and then there was this guy, like, this older guy. I'm telling you, he was, like, old, like late 50s or whatever. And apparently he was looking up my ass. We stopped walking, and then Leo looks back at him and was just like, you good, bro? I'm just like, what happened? And he was like, oh, he was all up in your ass. There's no point of even saying anything to another man because they're looking at your female. You should feel proud having a woman that everybody else wants to look at. Like, you don't want to have an ugly female, right? But that doesn't mean, it just depends on how I act. Like, if I was over here, like, giving him kissy faces, like, whatever, like, flirting back or whatever, then that's a different story. But if he's just looking at me, like, what I'm trying to say is, if another man is looking at me, it shouldn't be a problem. It just depends on how I act. And if he comes up to me and like ask for my number, whatever. Like it just like there's to an extent. You don't trip off of any man that looks at me. It just like went downhill from there. Like he started to kind of monitor what like how I dressed in public, how I speak to people, like how I act towards men. Like he just started becoming super controlling. Like let me tell you, we went to a bar and like Leo and I got into an argument. I can't remember. So we sit at this bar and I'm not trying to keep this video too long, but let's just say that our time in Miami together was only 3 weeks long, and a lot of events happened during that time. Like it just went worse by the minute. It wasn't even like a real relationship. So let me just fast forward over to the major incident that caused me to break up with him. So like every day we would go to the liquor store and get some wine and like even sometimes hard liquor, like we'll drink. So this one instance, we buy a beer pong table and we bought some Disaronno. I just remember we get back from the mall because we went to go buy the beer pong table at Hot Topic or Spencer's. I believe it was Spencer's. So we get back to our apartment. He gets on the phone with his brother, which his brother was not supportive of his move to Miami. Like he was livid. His brother was livid, and he like hated me because like he was just saying like, you don't even know this female, like why are you even living there, our mom's sick, whatever. Like their mom was sick. His brother was just like, I'm over here taking care of her myself, like that's so selfish, whatever. They get into a heated argument. Like it was like probably 2 hours long, and they were like bickering, like fighting on top of their lungs. So he was already like super mad because of that conversation. He's been sipping on the Disaronno all night, like all day, right? We go and talk about how his cousin turns his back on him, saying like why would he even turn back on me and go to my female and tell you that I'm a bum ass and like I got nothing to like support you with, or you know, like pretty much just kind of going over like what his cousin was telling me. And he felt disrespected, he felt like he was betrayed, so he started getting more mad on top of the conversation he had with his brother. So all of that started to just like stack up on top of each other, and he was like, you're the only person that has my back, like I only got you and my mama left, like you two, oh, and my son, like you are the only ones that are in my life. He was making it seem like I was the only one left that has his back. Like I wasn't even saying anything, I was just like sitting there listening to everything he was saying. We ran a few games of beer pong, so like we were having fun at the same time, but like he was still very passionate. Like he was passionate, I cannot talk. He was passionate about how his family was treating him, and like you can just hear the rage coming out. Like I don't want to say that it was all the alcohol. I feel like the alcohol was like kind of helping him come out. Like honestly, I should have taken that bottle away from him before he even like snapped, because I already seen it coming. I seen the rage coming. Fast forward, he and I started getting into an argument. Like I stopped playing beer pong. We started to get very competitive with the beer pong. Like when he and I play games, like we used to play pool a lot, like billiards. We used to have competitions on like who won the most or whatever, so we kept track of that. We would get competitive with video games, with just a bunch of things. So this beer pong competition was getting kind of competitive, so I was like, I give up, like I don't want to play no more. I was acting kind of salty, so then I go and take my laptop over to our balcony, and then I started doing work on my business. If you don't know, I got a clothing brand, so I started working on that. And he took it up the ass. He was like, oh, so you're just gonna stop playing, like go to the balcony? Okay, if you want to work, I could work too. So then he started making beats. So he makes beats for music, whatever. So he started working on his beats. Fast forward to me going back inside because it was like hot outside. So then I was like just sitting on the edge of the bed, and then he was like, oh, why aren't you working no more? Like, continue working so I could start, like, I don't know. He was saying some, like, slick shit. So then I was like, I don't want to work no more. Oh, okay, I remember. I go back inside because I told him I found a designer that can help me, like, make a new logo for my website. And then he was like, oh, I can make a new one for you. Like, I want to help you. Like, I want to help you build this business, so let me take care of that. I can come up with something cooler. So I show him the design that the person made for me, and then I told him, like, it was a certain amount of money, and he disagreed on the price. He was like, it shouldn't even be worth that much. Like, I can make something better. So we get into an argument about that. I said something along the lines of, you take care of your stuff, like, you take care of your beats, you know, like your fitness industry, your music industry, while I take care of my business. Like, I got this, you know, like, you don't gotta stop what you're doing to, like, help me out with what I got going on, right? Like, I could take care of this. Because the thing with me is, like, I'll accept help from people, but if it's not something that meets my expectations, then I'm not going to accept it. Like, I don't know, I can be kind of a perfectionist, so he tried helping me, and this is where I messed up. Like, he kept on trying to convince me that he wants to help me grow my business first before he moves on to his, because it's teamwork, or whatever he said. So I was like, no. Like, if I didn't know that you wouldn't be so ambitious and so goal-oriented as I thought you were, I would have probably brought someone else up to Miami. Ooh, that pissed him off. He, like, I'm telling you, his eyes was filled with rage, and, like, he looked like the devil. Like, he looked so scary. Like, I'm getting the chills right now because I could remember how he looked at me. But he was just so angry. He was like, what? He's like, there's another, okay, he said the N-word, and I'm not going to say that in this video. He's like, there's another man, isn't there? Like, you're talking to someone else. Okay, you guys are probably wondering why it looks so dark all of a sudden. I just came back from work, so I had to pause the recording. It's already been, like, about 9 hours after my previous clip, so ignore the background. I'm going to continue from where I left off. So he was going off. Like, he started throwing things. He snatched my phone out of my hands. And, like, one thing I do notice is that when we would get into an argument, he would snatch my phone out of my hands. I think it's because, like, it's a way for him to have, like, it's just a way for him to have full control. Like, I won't be able to call anyone for help, or I don't know why he snatches my phone. I don't know what his reason is, but I'm assuming that's why. But he snatched my phone out of my hands, and then he just started going off, like, yelling at me, like, oh, there's another this, there's another that. And just so you have a clear picture, like, he wasn't saying man, and he wasn't saying, like, oh, there's another guy. He was saying the N-word the whole time, which is a word that I would never say. Yeah, so he was just like, there's another man, isn't there? Like, you've been talking to someone or whatever, like. And, like, side note, on the way up to Miami, like, on the drive up to Miami, I did have two, like, guys call me. It was, like, two guys that I used to mess with. Long story. So, like, it was just two random guys. Like, one actually was random. Like, I never met him. I've never, like, seen him in person. Like, we just matched on Tinder when I was in New Orleans. So, it was just a guy that I matched with, and he just so happened to call me. Honestly, I think it's because I posted a video on my Instagram where I was in, like, Baton Rouge, which is in Louisiana, and I guess that guy seen that post, and then he was like, he texted me after I didn't answer the call, but he texted me and he was like, you're in Louisiana and you didn't tell me. So then I blocked him immediately, because if Leo seen another man texting me, ooh, no. That can't happen. Yeah, and then the other guy that called me was a guy that I really did talk to. Like, we had something pretty serious, so I think he was just like, I don't know why he was calling me, but that's besides the point. Like, the point is that I got 2 calls on the way up to Miami, and he's seen that because, like, my phone was on Bluetooth, and you know how, like, on the phone it'll say, like, who's calling. Well, he's seen the names that were calling me. So back to, like, that incident. So I'm gonna name him Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So he was like, so you've been talking to Tweedledee and Tweedledum and you think they're sexy, huh? And I was just like, what? Like, I don't even talk to anyone. Like, I say that my heart belongs to you, and when I say that, I mean that. Like, I was only saying that I would have brought someone up here because I need, like, someone that can help me grow, whatever. And then he was just going off. He was not listening to anything I was saying. So, like, he was, like, building his anger up himself, and I wasn't really saying much. I was just scared because, like, he was just, like, throwing things. He was yelling at the top of his lungs. And then I just remember, like, he was just so mad, and I was about to say something else, and then he, like, grabs me. Like, he just, like, grabs me, and then he, like, with his full force, like, there's somebody else, isn't there? And he was just, like, shaking me. I'm like, get off me, you're hurting me. And he just kept on saying the same thing. There's somebody else, isn't there? I'm like, no. And at this point, I'm crying. Like, I was in shock because I didn't think he would ever put his hands on me, let alone yell in my face like that. But I was like, get off me, you're hurting me. And he just kept on going. And his eyes, like, I will never forget his eyes. It was just full of rage. It was like, it was scary. So yeah, and so he just kept on going, and he was doing that for a cool 5 minutes, and then he finally lets go, and I was crying. I was like shook, like I was not moving. I was like, okay. So I started from like the edge of the bed, and then I like scooped back all the way to the wall, and then that's when he grabbed me when I was at the like against the wall. So I was just like on the bed, just like stuck. Then when he finally did let go, he still kept on yelling and yelling and yelling, and just like he ended up throwing his phone. Like he was like, man, he was like, I do everything for you, I love you, whatever. He just kept on going. All of a sudden we hear a knock on the door, and it was like, Miami police, open the door. And then he looks at me. I think he asked me like, did you call the cops? And I looked at him like I didn't say anything because he took my phone. Like, how can I possibly call the cops? So he opens the door, and the cops were like, we got a call from the neighbors about a noise complaint. Like, is everything okay? And he was like, yeah, we're just having a regular fight. Like, it's just me and my fiance. Like, I don't know why he called me fiance. He was like, me and my fiance are just having a normal fight. Like, everything's good. So, like, he was just talking for me. Sorry, there's something in my eye. But he was talking for me at this point. He was just like, she has nothing to say to you guys. Like, everything's good. And the cops were just like, no, like, can we talk to her? Like, we want to hear from her. And so, like, the way our bed was set up, like, it was a studio apartment. I know that I told you guys that I was going to do a apartment tour, like, when I did move to Miami, so I can enter a clip so you guys can get an understanding of, like, or just get a better view of, like, how it looks. And if you guys were curious of how it looked, I'll post a little clip. But, so, like, from the front door, you won't be able to see me, like, on the bed because it's kind of, like, hidden. And so, like, I was just there, just shaking. Finally, I got up, and then I, like, was walking slowly towards the cop. And, Leo was like, tell him that everything's good. Like, he was just like, tell him everything's good, that we're just having a normal fight. Like, he was just still trying to talk to me. I mean, talk for me. So then the cop looked at me and he was like, is everything okay? Like, he was looking at me. And then I was just like, yeah, everything's fine. Like, I was just like kind of speechless. Like, deep down I wanted to tell him. But then, like, I didn't want Leo to get in trouble because I loved him, right? So, like, I think the cop can sense it. So then he just started going like this. So then I was walking towards the cop, and Leo was like, what are you doing? Like, everything's good. Casey, everything's good, right? So then I just, like, and then the cop just, like, was, like, walking slowly backwards and, like, kind of easing me into, like, to get out of the door. And then he was just like, no, let me talk to you out here. Like, let me talk to you in the hallway. So I was following him. So then I was finally outside of our apartment, right? And the cop took me around the corner, like, down the hallway. And he started asking me questions. He was like, what happened? Like, we got a noise complaint. Like, how long have you guys been together? How long have you guys been living together? So just like a bunch of questions. And I was wearing like a short sleeve, so the cop asked me, like, he was like, what happened right there? He saw the bruises on my arm, and I was like, oh, like, that's nothing. And then he was like, are you sure? He was like, that wasn't from tonight, because they look kind of fresh, whatever. And then I just started crying. Like, I just started crying. Like, I just could not hold it in. And then he was like, did he do that to you? And I didn't, like, I hesitated. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I just hate dealing with cops to begin with. Like, I don't trust cops, okay? But then at the same time, something in my mind was like, you don't know if he's ever going to put his hands on you again. Like, if he has the audacity to even do this to you, like, what can he do next? And there were some times where, I don't know, he did some things in the past before that made me question, like, would he ever put his hands on me? And I don't know if I manifested this, but he put his hands on me. So, like, I know that it's a possibility that he would do it again. So eventually I admitted to the cops that it was him that put his hands on me. As soon as I said that, oh, and while I was talking to these cops, like, there were 3 cops in front of my face. There was like 3 more talking to him, like, down the hallway next to our apartment. So he was distracted. Like, there's no way he could have just, like, walked out the apartment and just, like, try to look for me. But as soon as I said that he put his hands on me, they handcuffed him. They, like, called on the radio. They're like, take him in, or whatever. They said something, and so they handcuffed him. I could hear the commotion in the background. He was like, Casey, what? You're gonna let them take me to jail? I can't go to jail. He was like, you're gonna let them take me? Like, don't do this to me. And like, while he was yelling, I was crying. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was shaking. Like, there were just so many things going on in my mind. And like, I low-key wanted to stop them from arresting him, because, like, I know, like, his family's all the way in Cali, and, like, he has a son. I don't know if he's gonna like, lose his custody. So I was thinking about all that. I was thinking about just saying, like, no, like, everything's fine. But, and also, like, when he was yelling out for my name, the cops were just going like this to me, like, shh, like, don't say anything. And then they even took me to, like, this laundry room, and they shut the door behind us. Like, it was 2 cops watching me, and then they, like, shut the door behind us so that I wouldn't be able to say anything. And then, like, when they took him down the hallway and, like, down the elevator, like, I did not see any of that happening. I just could just hear him, like, Casey, I love you, like, don't do this, whatever. Like, he was just yelling. And I was crying, and it was just, like, it felt like a movie. But, yeah, so they arrest him, they take him to jail, whatever, and then, like, I have, like, all 8 cops, like, come to my apartment, and they were just like, we need your statement, we need you to write down everything that happened. And then there was this one cop that was, like, taking pictures of, like, my bruises, so it was, like, all over my arms. He had me, like, stand up against the wall and was just, like, taking close-ups. And then, and, like, when I was writing my statement, it was so awkward because I was just, like, writing, like, I was writing paragraphs, like, 2 pages worth, and they were just standing there, like, watching me. Like, it was just, like, all of them in my living room, and I was just writing, like, all you could hear was just the pencil. Like, it was just really weird. It's just, like, this whole system's weird. Like, the cops finally leave. It's, like, 4 o'clock in the morning at this point, 4 or 5 in the morning, so I had not slept at all because we were fighting all night, and we were playing beer pong, we were getting drunk. So as soon as they leave, the cops leave, like, I'm just laying in bed, and I'm traumatized. I'm shaking, I'm scared, and I was, like, so paranoid. Like, I kept just looking at my front door, like, thinking he's just gonna bust the door open, just kill me or something. Like, I don't know, I was just super paranoid. I called a few people, and I started, like, explaining the situation. I just couldn't go to sleep right away. I think I pulled, like, I don't know, like, maybe a 30-something hour, like, I went 30-something hours not going to sleep during that time. So he was taken to jail for at least 3 days, like 2 nights and 3 days. And that first day, like as soon as the leasing office opened, like at 8 a.m., I went downstairs and then I explained the situation. I was like, look, the guy that I moved in here with is crazy and I need to get away from him. Like, I need to move away from this unit ASAP because he has the key to my apartment. And like, so I just told him the whole situation, like why he went to jail and like that I needed to move as soon as possible, right? So luckily they were able to make that happen. There was another unit available. So that was the fastest I've ever moved, let me tell you. So, and it's crazy because we were only in Miami for like 2 weeks and I already had everything furnished. Like I had a TV stand, I had a bed, I had everything. It looked like I'd been living there for years. Like it was set, right? And then they were just saying, like the office was just saying, well, the maintenance has to go in there and make sure everything's working properly, and then housekeeping has to go in there and make sure that it's clean. So we won't be able to let you move until like 2 days from now or something. So I was like, that's fine. Like I still need time to go pack everything. So then I packed everything in that same day. Mind you, I didn't have no sleep. I was like tired. I don't even think I ate that day because I was so stressed and I was so paranoid and I was so like heartbroken. So I was really weak, but I don't know how I made that happen. Like I just packed all my clothes, I put it all in big bags. I don't know, like I packed all my utensils and like I just put everything in like bags, and then I found boxes at Goodwill or something. Then it comes to moving day, which is like 2 days later. I call. Oh, and then another thing is, but there was like this attorney that was contacting me. Like the day that he was arrested, I got a call from Miami Police County, and so they were just like, hey, like, we're gonna keep you updated. Like, we're gonna let you know when it's his court date. We'll let you know when he's out of jail. Like, we're gonna keep you updated. So they were calling me every day, like, what's the process that he's in, basically. Like, he has court this day, and then he'll be out this day, or like he has bail for this amount. And they were just like, we're gonna make sure that he doesn't come near you. Like he has a temporary restraining order, so even like when he gets out of jail, he has 24 hours or something like that, like restraining order, so he can't come to your apartment, he can't come to your job. So I felt safe a little bit. Yeah. So they tell me when it's his court day. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get out soon. Like I need to move like quick. So I call a moving company and I paid like $400 for them to move all my stuff in the same apartment unit. It's just a different building. Like I don't get why they charge so much. Anyway, I didn't care. I just wanted to get out of that apartment because I didn't want him to just bust the door open. And also while he was in jail, like I was constantly checking his location. We did share each other's location. So I was constantly checking that, and then I was checking his records. Like I was like staying up to date on like his bail bond and his charges. So because I couldn't really rely on the attorney like giving me a call all the time, I was just like paranoid to the max. So finally I moved all my stuff into a different unit, and then the next morning I check his location. So like this entire time it says location not found, like on our iPhone. Like I guess it's like his phone was off or something. So that's that next morning after I moved, I seen his location, bro. He was like on the move. I seen the dot like moving. I was like, he's gonna come out to kill me.